Hey, this is Larry Gonzales with your housing market update for the 17th of April, the week of 17 April. A lot going on, but not really. And what are we seeing right now? Well, last couple of weeks we had a lot of big news. We had inflation news, we had jobs news, and we had some big housing news. But this week, nothing. The last couple of weeks rates were going down, but we got nothing to hold rates down right now. And in the absence of no news that's going to keep pushing rates down, guess what happens? The rates go up. And people speculate. Any piece of news that comes out, rates start going up. And that's what happened this week. And we had a bunch of people talking, a bunch of Fed heads talking about doing. I even heard another 75 basis point hike on the Fed funds rate at the May meeting, which I think is absolute silliness. But anytime you hear somebody say that, well, you know what? That tends to cause interest rates to go up. Even if it's short term, it still causes rates to go up. And we're actually right now, as I speak, our rates are higher now than they have been since March. So they're not crazy high, but still higher. And I'm gonna give you the end right now. Buyers, you gotta break. You gotta break because mortgage asks were down this last week by 10%. So you're not going to see as many people coming in to put offers in. You still have a chance to get that really nice seller's credit. Matter of fact, I had 2 buyers, probably 3 by the time I'm done recording this, who are getting between $15,000 and $30,000. That's right, $30,000 in seller credits. I tell you what, in a month or 2 months, you're not going to see much of that because there's going to be a lot more buyers that are flooding the market, especially when rates go back down into the 5s, which is where we were squarely a couple weeks ago. Well, let's talk about some of the news that came out. We had a residential construction report that came out for the month of March, and there's some good news, bad news. Bad news is permits are down. It's hard to get permits, guys. It's hard, especially in states with a lot of legal red tape you got to get through. But permitting was down by 9% month over month and down 25% year over year. And then the good news, though, starts is basically they started building. They haven't completed, but they started building up 3% month over month on single family homes. Overall, down a little bit, but up 3% and up 28% year over year. But if you look at where we were at last year, we were really, really low last March. So that's good news. And in completions, you know what? We need more homes. The bottom line across every geographic area in the U.S., we need more homes. And we actually had a slight decrease month over month, 0.6% on completions, and then 12.9% increase year over year. So that's kind of good news, but we don't have enough homes. And here's another thing. I will get into this next report that came out on the housing market, and that's the National Association of Home Builders Market Index. It's a lot, and that's NAHB. So for the 4th month in a row, home builder sentiment went up. That's right. So we hit the doldrums. We hit the bottom. In December, we were at 31. And this is a scale from 0 to 100. Anything above 50 shows expansion. Below shows contraction and a very negative environment for home builders. Well, they're not quite to 50 yet, but they're getting there. And 2 areas that are already at 50. It's current situation and then future projections. They think that with rates going down, home buyers are going to come back in the market and they're going to be incentivized to build. The only thing that's holding back right now is buyer traffic. A lot of people are still just kind of leery of buying a home. I do see that changing here, though, over the course of the next couple months. But here's something for people who are actually able to get into a new home. 30% of home builders drop their original prices. I remember when I bought new construction, and they do them in phases, right? I was in the 3rd phase. We were on the 5th phase before my home was even done, and they had raised prices almost $60,000. We're not seeing that right now. Home builders, 30% are dropping prices. 59% of home builders are giving incentives to the buyers to buy. So if you can buy, all right, you get in there and you buy. And a lot of times, some of the builders have deals with banks and they already bought the rate previously, so they have the money to lend you at a lower rate than what the market is. So pretty big report that came out, very positive, moving in the right direction. National Association of Home Builder Market Index. Now let's get into generations. The millennials. Congratulations, millennials. Those are people who were born between 1981 and 1996. I have 2 children, actually, who are millennials. I am Gen X. That's the best generation. We had the 80s, and that's where we roll. We rocked it. But anyway, millennials hit the 50% home ownership. All right, that's great news. It's about time. Way to go. Way to catch up. But you know what? You got to give the millennials a break. All right, because their 30 is the new 20. Right? When I was young, everyone was getting married. 20 years old, boom, we're getting married. Having kids, pretty damn close to it. Sometimes we got married because we had kids. We were doing these things a lot earlier. Now the millennials are saying, I think I'm going to wait. And you know what? People actually kind of get into the idea of, hey, you know what? I think I need to buy a home. I'm starting a family. Well, if you're not getting married till you're 30, 35, guess what? You got time to wait. I'm very proud to say that I'm also at 50% with my millennial kids. One of them owns a home. The other one, she's a student, but she knows better because she used to work for me. She's just still in school. So that's great news. Still lagging behind Gen X, baby boomers, and the silent generation, our grandparents. But here's something to take note. Millennial home ownership, it trails all the other generations at this time in their lives. And again, part of it is 30 being the new 20. But the other part, the pandemic. There were some millennials who thrived during the pandemic. They saw the opportunity, they had money saved, they were young professionals that they went out and they bought big. That's great news for them. But a lot of the millennials, with home prices going up as much as they have, a lot of them are thinking, you know what, I don't know if I could buy now. And the affordability, right now, affordability is lower than really pretty much at any time in our history. So here's another thing, and I can relate to this from when I was a young in their age. The majority of millennial renters have no down payment savings. 67% of millennials do not have any money saved to buy a home. Hey, I was there. But you know what? A lot of this, and they think they cannot buy a home. Fully, from before the pandemic to now, the millennials who think they are forever renters went from 14.9% to 24.7%. All right, that is a lot. So fully a quarter of all millennials think they will never be able to buy a home. All right, my friends, that is giving up way too early. So you have 50% of millennials are home buyers. You have 25% who think they're never going to buy. Then you got 25% who are trying, but they just don't have the money yet. Well, guess what, millennials? Key is education. Key is setting a plan. So this is April is Financial Literacy Month. Let's talk about budgets. I'll talk about those in a minute here. Or watch one of my reels. But don't give up. Don't give up. I had zero money, and there are loan products where you don't have to have 20% down. There's a lot of loan products where you don't have to have 20% down, and you can buy a home. I'm going to go over something here in just a second because this is why you need to own a home. The National Association of Realtors, they just came out with their Wealth Gains by Income and Racial Ethnic Group. This is a research that they do. It's annual, and it talks about really income and wealth, and it's pretty amazing. In 10 years, all right, the last decade, low-income homeowners, so people whose income is lower than 80% of the median income for the area, have gained $98,000 in wealth or home appreciation. $98,000 for low income, and it's like $130 for median income, or $122 for median income. Kind of gonna go into some of the racial and ethnic group graphics here. Black home ownership, still the smallest wealth gain, but still the average $115,000 in home price appreciation over the last decade. Hey, what does that tell you? One, it tells you, black home ownership is still not high enough, as it is the same in most racial and ethnic groups. But you know what? Own a home. All right, and let's go by this. I tell you what, there's some really good news, or not good news, but it is good news, and good news to know. So this chart here is wealth gains by income level in the last 30 years. The 10 top places are all in California, and the lower income. So people who have lower income. It's San Jose, where I grew up, my hometown. All right, 2016, it became the first metropolitan service area to eclipse 1 million for the median sales price. Now, you didn't know that. I knew that because I read the news back in 2016. Those are things you don't forget. But San Jose, if you're low income, you still got $627,000 in appreciation from the home that you own over 10 years. Woo-wee! What does that say? Don't matter how much money you make. Buy a home. All right? Don't care. Buy a home, all right? And then hold on to the home, and guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna gain some appreciation. And I'm gonna tell you, you ever hear Grant Cardone's 10X rule? Well, guess what? Home ownership is a 40X rule. That's right, 40X, because homeowners have 40 times more net worth than renters. Print that, baby. Buy a home. And I'm not telling you, I don't care if you buy a home from me or not. I want my kids to buy homes as soon as they're able. All right, and get on that wealth building train, baby. Because guess what? This is showing right here. All right, in a decade. And granted, we had some pretty good appreciation. But you know what? We also had 2012. There wasn't a lot of. We were just coming out of the Great Recession. So if we go into recession, well, guess what? Why don't you get on that train then? All right, but the key is to get on the train. But that's pretty cool. San Diego, oh man, $346,000 in appreciation in the last 10 years, average. Pretty solid. All right, but let's look at wealth gains by race in the last 10 years. All right, majority groups, whites, didn't make the most money in appreciation over in every place. Bremerton, black, African American, home price appreciation, $585,000. All right, that's huge. That's more than any other ethnic group. Again, goes to show you, it doesn't matter whether you're black, Asian, Mexican, white, Hispanic, buy a home. All right, the key to breaking out. I'm not talking 10X rule, Grant Cardone, I'm talking 40X rule. All right, 40X rule, your net worth is to buy a home. Reno, Nevada, my dad owns a home in Reno, Nevada. You know what? He's white. We still got some pretty good appreciation, and he don't work. And guess what? He's got 100% disability. He's got Social Security. He's got some retirement. He's doing pretty good. And in these other areas, San Jose again, $513,000 for black, $777,000 for Asian. Man, that's a lot of. I'm just going. I'm not picking one in particular, but man, key here. What I'm trying to get at is you got to own a home. If you want wealth for you, for your future generations, you gotta buy a home. So where are we at with interest rates? Well, last week they were looking pretty good. We had a retail sales report that showed actually retail sales down by 1%, over 1%, which was a little more than what was expected. So you know what? Interest rates started going up on Friday, and every day this week they've gone up a little bit. So we're kind of in a hurt locker there. The 30-year fixed rate, we're climbing up towards 7%. I don't think we're gonna get there, but for buyers, this is your reprieve. This is your second chance. It's your second chance to get in there and get a home where the sellers are giving you credits, because there's a lot of people. Again, 10% drop in mortgage applications last week. 10% drop. That means you got a better chance to buy this week. All right, that's about all I have for the housing market update this week. I hope I gave you some good news. Man, 40X, not 10X, 40X net worth of a buyer versus a renter. If that doesn't say buy a home, I don't know what does. All right, talk to you later.